Okay guys, make sure to like, comment, and subscribe. Now, fasten your seatbelts. Here we go. All right guys, I'm back and it is Saturday, June 20th, and it is 11:36 p.m. Eastern Time. Now, I have already completed one video and it is processing, and it has been for a while now because I took a little break in between videos, but this one is going to be about news. The other video, of course, was catching us up to date with all the Q posts because Q posted again today. So we are completely caught up with that. And now I'd like to get into the news. But first, I want to thank a few people via Coffee, Anon and Sherry Christie. Thank you so much for your donations. And I received something via snail mail, not today, but yesterday. And Gary E. Thank you so much, Gary. I really, really appreciate it. He sent a lovely note and a donation and a hysterical. I love the picture on the outside of the card. It is priceless. Anyway, thank you so much. And also, I don't usually do this. I've got a couple things here that I never ever do, but please, right now, and I'm making an appeal because I'm stuck at 66.6, and I have been for several days now, which is highly unusual. The count is not going up, not going down, just sitting there. So please, I only need 21 more people to subscribe to get me to 66.7. I just hate that 666 number, especially because, you know, I am a Christian and I just don't want my channel to say 666 on it. So anyway, if you haven't subscribed, please consider subscribing. And also, if you have been subscribed, check to make sure that you are still subscribed, because of course we know that they drop subscribers from channels that they don't approve of. And so that has happened to me quite regularly. I've had people say, you know, I was subscribed and now I'm not subscribed. And that has happened to me with channels that I follow as well. I look and all of a sudden, wait a minute, why am I not subscribed now? So if you could do that, I would so very much appreciate it. All right, and here's something else I never ever do. I never recommend other channels. I never discuss other channels ever. And there's a reason for that, because I don't know these people. I don't, you know, and I don't know. I've just made it a rule. I don't discuss other channels and I don't recommend other channels. And I don't talk about them negatively either. So here's the thing. I am going to recommend a channel. And that is just not something I do, and not even something I feel comfortable with, but I feel compelled to do this. Now, I was out, I got a phone call today and from a friend in Georgia, and we were discussing the whole eclipse happening and also the end of the Mayan calendar and all the things that are taking place, you know, on the 21st. There seems to be a great deal. So we were discussing that, and I don't know why, but after I got off the phone, I thought, you know, I really haven't been paying that much attention. So I'm going to go out and I'm going to familiarize myself with some of this. Well, I did that, and most of the channels, honestly, I listened to about 5 minutes and went, oh, and really, because either they were like, okay, the world's going to end on June 21st. No, it isn't. It's not going to end on June 21st. If you believe the Bible, if you believe scripture, then it is not going to end. However, and I do say however, because there is something to this, that there could be an event or something could happen that is maybe not catastrophic. I don't know. But we are entering into a period of time, and I would not do it justice. And that is why I am recommending a channel. Now, I've listened to several channels discuss this, none of which I agreed with, until I came across this one. And I just don't spend hours listening to people. I just don't. I don't have that kind of time to do that. Once in a while, if it's someone that I know and trust, and they have something that I think that I could benefit from hearing and learning from, then I will. But it's unusual for me. So I went today and I spent time once I discovered this channel, because within the first few minutes of him talking, I thought, okay, this guy, he knows. He's very astute. And so I am going to recommend this, and I'm going to show you what the channel is. Now, he's only got 5.19 thousand subscribers, which is not a lot. And yet his videos are first rate. They really are. Now, if you go to his channel, and I don't know this person at all, I just subscribed today to them, but Theology Ed is the name of the channel. Theology Ed. Theology Ed. And you go here, he's got many, many interesting videos here, and I think I watched just about all of them today because I was just enthralled with some of the things he had to say. He's very astute, and he's got a series on iPet Goat too, which is the best I have ever heard. I wouldn't be able to touch this with a 10-foot pole. This guy really has done phenomenal work. And you know me, I don't say that of anyone ever, really. So he's really good. But I'll tell you what I would suggest. I'm not going to tell you what to do. You're a free person. You can watch what you want. But I'll tell you what drew me into his channel. He has a lot of stuff. He's got, let me see, I've watched this one, America Attacked on All Sides, but there's some really interesting one, Get Out of the U.S., June to July 2020. Fascinating, absolutely riveting. And there's a bunch of them here that he has. Let me see, I've watched several. You Should Have Left, that's another one that is riveting. It's all to do with the eclipse and what is called the what is it? The buck moon? I think it's called the buck moon, that is happening July 5th. So it's very important. June 21st and July 5th, two very, very important dates. And he's going to explain it. Now, I know you're probably saying, well, why don't you just explain it? Because I couldn't do it justice. You know, this guy has obviously been looking into this for a long time, and I don't know, his stuff is riveting. It's very well thought out, very well researched. So I would just suggest that if you want to know about what is happening and how this has been predicted before it's happened in movies and so forth, I would suggest this channel, Theology Ed. And again, I don't know this person from Adam, but I think their work speaks for itself. So I would just suggest that. And again, they don't have a lot of subscribers, which leads me to think that they are virtually, unheard of. I mean, not unheard of. Obviously there's people watching his videos, quite a few. But yeah, so I'm going to do that, even though it's highly unusual for me to do that. I don't like to do that because then if there's something in there that I don't agree with or whatever, I feel responsible. But I'm just saying, I haven't looked at every single video, but probably 90% of them. So there you go. And I'm going to go back now and get into the news. But those two things, an appeal for subscribers, not because I care about numbers, but I don't. I really don't. I think we have a great group here. We have a good family atmosphere here, and that is good. We've got kind of a PC attitude here that, PG rather, I'm sorry, not PC, PG attitude here on this channel. So yeah, I don't really care about numbers, but I don't really like having 666 under my channel name either. So, all right, let's get into this now. All right, but please, please, please look into this stuff about the eclipse and July 5th. Please look into it. Do yourself a favor and look into it, because I am, well, for me personally, I'm 100% sure, 99.9% sure that something is going to happen. Like, yeah. So please do that for me. Just humor me. And if you don't agree, that is absolutely perfectly fine as well. And if you don't, let me know. Say, I don't agree with this because, or whatever. But don't just say, well, that's crazy. Like, give me a reason why you disagree. And yeah. So, all right. Now, let's get on with the news. Okay. And there is so much of it. And I have more here than I can ever get to tonight. Because it's already getting late. But I did want to, because I missed last night, I did want to get us caught up with Q and get us a little bit caught up with the news as well. So let's look at this first. In case you didn't know, of course, we had the outage of some major carriers, cell phone carriers across the U.S. Well, the reason for that is because they were installing something on your phone without your permission, which tracks COVID. If you downloaded the latest iOS update back in May and any following updates, then congratulations, your COVID-19 infection status will likely soon be tracked by state health officials as part of each state's contact tracing efforts. Many iPhone users across the U.S. have, over the past few days, started to notice a new setting under the privacy subtab on the iPhone Health app. It looks like this and allows users to toggle on COVID-19 exposure logging. It's all thanks to the latest update of Apple's iOS operating system for iPhone, iOS 13.5. And it says COVID-19 exposure logging off. This person has turned it off. When enabled, iPhone can exchange random IDs with other devices using Bluetooth. This enables an app to notify you if you have been exposed to COVID-19. Exposure logging cannot access any data in or add any data to the health app, so they say. But how many times have we heard things like that and then we find out, yes, they can. So, all right, let's move down here. And it says some on Twitter have only just noticed the toggle button, and we must note that it appears to have been quietly installed by Apple in recent days. Aubrey Huff, did your phone act up with no service a few days ago? What if I told you they secretly added COVID-19 trackers? iPhones, setting, privacy, health. It's there. Awake yet? Now, I don't have an iPhone, so, and I have not checked my phone. Perhaps I should. Similar setting has been installed on Android phones. Well, there you go. So that's me, because I've got an Android phone. Android has it too. Go to Settings, Google, and it's the first option. So there you go, guys. If you have an Android phone, go to Settings, Google, and it's the first option. And this person said, yep, it's on mine. And up here, if you have an iPhone, what you do is, where did I just read that? Just want to make sure that you guys know how to get this off and turn it off if you wish to. Okay. It's under the privacy subtab of the iPhone Health app. So there you go. It's on both Android and Apple phones. And some users have questioned whether Apple will truly respect their privacy. You have to question that regarding their COVID-19 status, or whether they've interacted with anyone who has the virus, or maybe even just passed them on the street or in the supermarket. And it says this by Evan. Honestly, even if you turn it off, I'm assuming it's still on. That's what I think. Mine said I needed to have Bluetooth on, but I bet it's still transmitting. This is happening even as evidence suggests that most patients are infected by someone who either lives in or frequently shares the same space as them. Are you awake yet? Well, I think we are. And we're getting more awake as time goes on. I know it's not like pregnancy. It's not like you either are or you're not. You can't be a little bit pregnant. You're either pregnant or not. And you can't be, but being awake is not like that, because there are degrees of awakeness. Like if you wake me up first thing in the morning, I'm not a morning person. And really, if you tell me anything or talk to me during that time, I will have no idea what you said. But an hour goes by, I have a shower, I have a coffee, and I'm back to being me. So, but really, I mean, even my mother, when she calls me in the morning to tell me something important, she'll always say, now, are you going to remember this? And I'll go, yeah, I'll remember it. But I don't. So now she says, get up and write it down, please. And of course I do, because I know that if you talk to me right after I wake up, I will not remember anything you said. So, yeah, so we're awake, but we're getting even more awake. And lately I'm awake like I've had, 10 cups of coffee awake. All right. Let's go back because there is so much to get to. Now, let's look at this. Of course, this is past now, but I think this is interesting that the mayor says, breaking overnight, Tulsa mayor declares a civil emergency, orders immediate shutdown curfew around Trump rally venue. Now, I'm not going to read all this because it's past, but what they did is people started lining up. The rally was on Saturday, and they started lining up, which is today, and they started lining up last Sunday. They were lining up, and they were just staying in line. And I'm sorry, I'm itching my little poison ivy foot. And they were just going to camp out all week because there was so much demand for this rally that they got in line like a week early. A week early. Do you think Biden would pull that kind of response? Of course not. Oh my gosh. I don't think he can even get, a couple people to show up, really. But anyway, so the mayor steps in and says, oh yeah, by the way, we are declaring a civil emergency. So we're instituting a curfew. I'm sorry, I couldn't get that out. But anyway, yeah, that's what he did. So that meant that those people had to go home. They couldn't just wait there until the rally for a week. No, they had to go home. And do you think that was, just whatever? Definitely on purpose. He did that on purpose. Absolutely. And I just think that is awful, to be quite blunt. All right, now let's go back, because there's no sense reading that now because the rally is over. So let's go back here and continue on. Now, I meant to bring this yesterday, so some of this, you may have already heard, but I'm sure you've probably heard this, that they, the Portland protesters tear down statue of George Washington, drape it with burning U.S. flag. Look at that. This sign says, "Stop the spread of white privilege." I don't know why they're going on about white privilege. I never felt very privileged. Yes, I grew up in a family that was definitely middle to upper middle class, but I left when I was 17, and my gosh, things were not easy for me. Like, I worked very, very hard to be able to afford university and so forth. And I don't know. I don't know where this white privilege is coming from. But anyway, activists in Portland have torn down a statue of George Washington after covering its head with a flaming U.S. flag during the latest night of protests sweeping the city. At roughly 11 p.m. local time on Thursday, a group of some 30 to 40 protesters initially vandalized the statue located on the lawn of the German American Society in northeast Portland with graffiti which read, "You're on native land." They called the first president of the U.S. a genocidal colonist. The group later brought the statue down with ropes. And Antifa rioters on Sandy Boulevard in Portland draped a U.S. flag over a George Washington statue and set it on fire. Then they toppled the statue. Genocidal colonists and F cops are sprayed on monument. Rioters have begun to build another autonomous zone nearby. However, it has been dismantled. And so, score one for law and order. All right. The nearly 100-year-old statue of George Washington in Northeast Portland has been pulled down. There are no police in the area. Oh, what a surprise. Yeah. Excuse me. It's not COVID. It's allergies. I feel like I have to say that everywhere because people here are so paranoid. If they hear you coughing or even clearing your throat, everyone turns and looks at you like, you know, like you've got an AK-47 or something. Anyway, everyone ducking out right as PPB car rolls by. Here's what's left. Well, not too much. Horrible. So I'm not going to belabor that because we have a lot to get to. I'm sure you've already heard that news anyway, but in case you hadn't, I felt it important to mention. Now, this is the other thing that is happening tomorrow. We have a solar eclipse. Plus, when they recalculated the Mayan calendar, which was supposed to end in 2012, well, they hadn't taken into account that the Mayan calendar was different than our Gregorian calendar. And so they recalculated it, and it is actually tomorrow. Tomorrow is, according to the Mayan calendar, the end of the calendar, meaning many people surmise that the calendar ended because the world ended. Well, that is not scriptural, and I don't believe that. You are welcome to if you wish, but that is not what I believe or subscribe to. So, but there are very important things happening, and I do believe it has to do with the Antichrist coming to power. I really do. I think that there's a long, you know, it would take me forever to even explain it, and I don't even know if I could get it out to be able to communicate the things that have been running through my head the last few days. But that is what I believe. And also worldwide, not just nationwide, worldwide, the Luciferians are marching during the solar eclipse on the 21st, which is tomorrow. So I find that interesting. Now, if you are a believer, then please pray tomorrow. Please pray, because you can bet they are. You know, it was interesting to find out that, you know, actually the Satanists and the Luciferians are much better at their religion, so to speak, than Christians are to theirs, because they will fast and pray to bring down a righteous man, a pastor, or a righteous woman. They will fast and pray to ruin churches. They will send people into churches to cause division. And if you are in a successful church that is preaching the real gospel, then you can bet they're there. They're there. So, yeah, so please, because they are, you know, marching and praying against us, really, Christians, so please pray tomorrow, and let's take a look at this. I know they are having one in Toronto, and I briefly, I might add, thought about going to cover it, but I don't want to be in that environment, and I just, there's reasons why I don't want to. Anyway, nationwide Luciferian March rollout on June 21st during solar eclipse ring of fire. After craved leftists tore down virtually every historical statue in America, Satanists might be planning to erect Luciferian statues in their place. I don't know about that, but this is old. It's June 12th, but I'm just hearing about this now. I have not heard much about it at all anywhere, even on the alternative media. So that's why I'm bringing this to you. And it's not just the United States, it's worldwide. They're having a march in Toronto, which is about an hour and 3/4. Well, it depends. From here to downtown Toronto would probably be 2 hours, but to the outskirts, I can get there in an hour and a half, probably. Well, actually a little over an hour. But anyway, They are marching there. I don't know where else in Canada they are marching, but they are marching in the States. They are marching in Canada. They are marching worldwide from my understanding. So let's take a look at that. Here we've got a young man dressed as Satan, which, yeah, Satan doesn't look like that. Actually, Satan disguises himself as an angel of light. So he comes across as righteous. He comes across as just, because Satan is duplicitous. He presents himself one way as an angel of light, but he actually is something completely different. And that's why it's confusing to people sometimes, because he presents himself as righteous. And you know, the people that are very serious Satanists, you don't have to worry about the people all dressed in black with pentagrams and all that. You don't have to worry about them. You have to worry about the ones that appear normal. They appear normal. They're well-dressed, they're well-educated, they're well-spoken, and they appear like they are righteous and doing the right thing and moral and upright. And that's why they fool people. Because if you walk up to somebody with all dressed in black with pentagrams and everything, like you're just saying, it's right out there. You don't have to guess. But when somebody has it hidden, and the other thing they do is they try to obtain positions in Christian churches. Yes, they do. So, yeah, because in their religion, the more duplicitous they are, the more they are like their father, the father of lies. Just like we Christians want to be like our Father, God. And like his son, Jesus. That is what we attain to, but they want to be like their father, who is the father of lies and the father of deception, who appears as an angel of light. So that's what they do. They appear as an angel of light, but they are wicked to the core. Now, the Luciferian March for a One World Government will be held in at least 9 U.S. cities on June 21st during a solar eclipse. The marches are intended to create chaos, and it has been speculated by some that demonstrators may even try to erect satanic monuments at existing sites where Confederate and other allegedly racist statues have been torn down. I don't know if I believe that, to tell you the truth, but that's what this person is suggesting. I don't know. I find that hard to believe. Most of the protests will take place at city capitals in the following cities: Jacksonville, Raleigh, Cincinnati, Columbus, Washington, D.C., Madison, Wisconsin, Buffalo, New York, Niagara Falls, New York, Salem, Oregon. So, and this person, Film Ninja, says, what the F is this? All events is promoting Luciferian marches. And there's a ton of them. Yes, there are. Yes, they are. And they're not all in the States. So, yeah, just heads up about that. And, the reason why I question the whole statue thing is because those statues are bronze statues. And, they take a long time to manufacture and erect. So I just don't believe that these guys marching are just all of a sudden going to have these statues. Like, I think that's a little bit out there. But who knows? Now, Luciferian March for a One World Government, Salem, Oregon. And that is what they're marching for, a One World Government. And of course, we know that the One World Government is, from that, the Antichrist will arise. And I believe we are at a very, very important mark in history. I really do. I think that this summer is not going to be pleasant at all into the fall. I don't know what's going to happen after that. I just don't think it's going to be pleasant. After the election, who knows? But I'm just not feeling good about this summer. Okay. And if that is not enough, a rare solar eclipse is supposed to create a ring of fire in the sky. Now, I can't stress this enough. This guy, Theology Ed, goes into a lot of this, and not about the Luciferian March, but about this ring of fire in the sky and so forth, and how it has been, we have been predictably programmed for this. It's been in movies, all sorts of things. So, solar eclipse June 2020, date and time in India. The first solar eclipse of the year 2020 will occur this month on June 21st. The event will be an annular solar eclipse where the moon will cover the sun from the center, leaving the outer rim visible, thus creating a ring of fire. Now, I don't know where this is going to be visible from. I don't think here we'll be able to see it. I know it's going to be visible from Jerusalem, which is important, but I'm not sure where else it's going to be visible from. I need to find that out because I'm curious. All right, now let's leave that and come back here because there's more. There's always more. And here is the Toronto City Hall Luciferian March, just because it's so close to my home. And look at this. Mishel, stay up to date on coronavirus. No, thank you. Okay, now this is on Facebook, which I know so many people contact me through Facebook, but honestly, I never go on there because whenever I do, I am bugged to death. Now, I'm not talking about you guys because a lot of you guys are probably just asking questions or whatever. Not that. It's just, I don't know. I just can't stomach it. There's so much craziness there. So it's hosted by Disciples of Lucifer Toronto, Disciples of Lucifer Headquarters, Disciples of Lucifer Ontario, and Jeff Shalit, Satanic Commander of Lucifer's Army. Well then, greetings, citizens of Toronto, Ontario. We are the Disciples of Lucifer, and we are here to fulfill the prophecies of Revelations, start the foundations of forming a one world. Let me see more. Government. We are calling on every citizen of Earth to stand in support of the formation of the one world government. So on July 21st, 2019, we're calling on every citizen of the Earth to start marches all over the place in support of forming a one world government. Where does it start? It starts with you. And how can you help create your own chapter in your town? Plan marches and spread the word of forming a one world government. Tell your friends, your family, your co-workers, and random people on the streets. The time to form a one world government is now. The time to fulfill the prophecy is now. Help do your part to support the foundation of a one world government. Make events for July 21st. Pass out flyers. And tell everyone you know to support the formation of the One World Government. We will be meeting at Toronto City Hall at 2 p.m. on July 21st. Bring your all-seeing eye flags and support a One World Government. Signs. Hope to see you guys soon. Lucifer is love. Lucifer is life. Well, that is a lie, because Lucifer presents himself as an angel of light. So Lucifer is not love, and Lucifer is not life. The exact opposite. All right, so there you go. I just thought I would show you that there's marches planned everywhere. Yeah, I really did consider it for a little bit going up there. I really did, but you know, I don't think it's safe, really, because if they see that you're not for them, who knows? Anyway, I don't want to be around these people, to tell you the truth. Okay, now let's go back and let me see. Oh, yes, let's look at this. This is a little bit of good news. Well, I think so. I think you will, too. Tennessee legislature passes fetal heartbeat bill. Planned Parenthood, ACLU, file lawsuit. And Governor Bill Lee announces Republicans will pursue restrictions on abortion. And so basically, after the heartbeat has been detected, you will not be allowed to have an abortion in Tennessee. And of course, everyone is up in arms about that. But I think it's a good thing, because I can't stomach the killing of children that are viable. These children are healthy and well and will develop probably normally, most of them, and you know, they are aborted. Their lives are cut short because of the rights of the mother. But once you have a child in your stomach, you need to consider the rights of the child as well. Anyway, A wide-ranging abortion restriction bill once believed to be scrapped for the year will now become law in Tennessee, though it will immediately face a legal challenge. The bill, part of Governor Bill Lee's legislative agenda, was largely abandoned earlier this spring amid the CV pandemic. Found new life, though, last-minute budget negotiations between the House and Senate on Thursday. It passed the Senate 23-5 just after 12:30 a.m. Friday on a party line vote. Later that afternoon, Planned Parenthood, the American Civil Liberties Union, and other abortion rights groups filed a lawsuit against the bill in U.S. District Court in Nashville. In addition to banning abortions after the point of fetal heartbeat can be detected, which is as early as 6 weeks, the legislation also prohibits the procedure. If the doctor knows that the woman is seeking an abortion because of the child's sex or race, or if the doctor knows the woman is seeking an abortion due to a diagnosis of Down syndrome, for juveniles in custody of the Department of Children's Services, including removing the current option to petition a judge for permission. While there is an exception to the restrictions if a woman's life is in danger, there are no exceptions for rape or incest. So, the legislation was also amended to require that abortion clinics post a sign in the waiting room and in patient rooms informing people that it may be possible to reverse a chemical abortion and impose a fine of $10,000 for failing to do so. Similar 6 weeks bans have been struck down in Mississippi and Ohio and other states. So there you go. Now, and I know that this isn't just a cut and dried issue. It's complicated. And I do understand, as a woman, I do understand that, what do you do if you become pregnant and, you're not able to provide for it or whatever? But there are other options, and that is carrying it to term and allowing a loving family to adopt that child and give it all the advantages that you perhaps cannot give that child. So I don't know. It's just not an easy subject. All right. Let's go on now and go back. And also, the rumor that the official Bikers for Trump group were going to Seattle, to the Chaz or Chop, or whatever you want to call it today, is not true. So if you have told people that, as I have, then, and I apologize for that, I thought that it was correct, and it is not. So I want to correct that. They are not headed to Seattle's Chaz area or CHOP. One Facebook event alleges that Bikers for Trump are ready to defy the mayor, I think they meant to say mayor, of Seattle and his orders, and will retake the autonomous zone. The event states, on July 4th, Independence Day, a coalition of patriot groups and all who want to join are going to retake the Capitol Hill Autonomous Zone for America. Antifa members are illegally occupying public property and terrorizing small businesses in the neighborhood. American patriots have agreed to come together again, remove the barricades illegally obstructing traffic, and free the people in the zone. We are not going to hurt anyone, break the law, etc. We are simply going to tear down the illegal barriers on public property, clean up the mess these communist kids made, and return the police station over to the Seattle Police Department control. The staging area will be Seward Park. The parking lot can handle roughly 10,000 bikes easily. Now, I reported on that before, but it is not true. So, it says the tweet has been deleted, and on the disappointment of many conservative Bikers for Trump are not, the disappointment of many conservatives, should be a comma there, comma is your friend, Bikers for Trump are not heading to Seattle to liberate Chaz. So if you are one that has believed that and let other people know, it is not true. I wish that it was, but it's not. So I just wanted to let you know that, because I, for one, was one of those people that reported that. So it says from Mediate, Bikers for Trump denied being formally involved, as did the Oath Keepers. The site hosting the event subtly shifted its description of what to expect, pressing forward with a slew of new attention if a reduced list of formal participants, asked if either outlet reached out for comment before heading to print with the stories. A Bikers for Trump spokesman said, "Nope, only you." The fake news story saying that Bikers for Trump are riding with the Oath Keepers and other motorcycle groups into Seattle is fake news and spreading out of control, a spokesperson for Bikers for Trump told media. And we, Bikers for Trump, are not involved in any way, shape, or form with this fake story. The spokesperson continued to mediate. Bikers for Trump is a peaceful political movement, not a motorcycle club. The representative declined to comment on the fact it was right-wing outlets spreading this fake news. Bikers for Trump founder Chris Cox didn't return a request for comment. So there you go. All right, well, let's move on from that. No sense in lingering there. And let's see what else we can get to. Okay. Oh, now this is important, extremely important. Why has this not been in the news? Gee, I don't know. Maybe we can ascertain that. Let's click on it to look. And what have we here? Oh, body cam footage shows fired Atlanta cop desperately trying to save Rayshard Brooks' life. Hardly any media coverage. I can't imagine why. No, that wouldn't fit their narrative at all, would it? Why didn't we see this? New body cam and dash cam video shows the police officer who shot dead Rayshard Brooks begging the father of four to stay alive as he administered CPR to the dying man, according to video shot on the scene. The shooting happened last Friday at the fast food restaurant on University Avenue. Police were called to the scene around 10:30 p.m. after complaints of a man asleep at the wheel near Wendy's drive-thru line. The man, later identified as Brooks, failed a field sobriety test, according to the Georgia Bureau of Investigation. When officers tried to take him into custody, a struggle ensued. During the altercation, officials said Brooks grabbed an officer's taser and began to run away. Moments later, shots were fired. Brooks was taken to the hospital where he later died. Rolfe has been charged with murder by a crooked DA who has a lot of problems of his own right now and is using the case to win an election. Rolfe has been, After you watch the footage, ask yourself if the cop murdered Brooks. Ask yourself, why would a man who intended to murder someone be trying to save his life after the shooting? It doesn't add up. As you will see, the officers did everything by the book. What happened was at the fault of Rayshard Brooks, not the police. While there were angry shouts and accusations from people watching nearby, Rolfe can be clearly heard pleading, "Mr. Brooks, keep breathing for me." The body cam footage, though bouncing around, captures him kneeling on the ground and giving Brooks CPR as Brosnan looks on. Rolfe can be seen in the video administering CPR to Brooks until the ambulance arrived, and he can be heard repeatedly calling out Brooks' name as he tried to keep him alive. Daily Mail has also learned that Rolfe has since told friends that he didn't want to pull the trigger, but did so because he feared that he went down, Brooks might kill him. Because he had a taser. So if he tasered him, he would have been down and been able to very easily obtain his service revolver. Speaking exclusively to Daily Mail, one close to Rolfe said Garrett didn't want to do it. He had been punched and was dazed. Brooks had gone to tase him, and he said that he knew that if he went down, Brooks might kill him. Rolfe was injured from a punch landed by Brooks during the scuffle that broke out when Rolfe tried to cuff him. The former officer was briefly felled and did not know where his fellow officer, Devin Brosnan, 26, was at that moment. The mainstream media quickly took the side of the victims and crucified the cops, but a new video shows that the police officers weren't doing anything wrong. Brooks was caught on camera wrestling with police and resisting arrest. He was shot dead after he was not shot dead because he was still alive. So he later died from his wounds, but he was shot and mortally wounded. And he took the officer's taser gun and fled down the street and fired the taser at police. Here is the video. Brooks was fighting two police officers. All right, so let's look at this. Says the new full body cam video indeed shows that police did everything in their power to keep calm and control the situation. It's when Brooks became violent, beat the police, and then fired the taser at police that he ended up dead. All right, so let me see, which one is this? Okay, this is must be this one. Okay, let's take a look at this. I'm going to go to YouTube and make it bigger for you guys.
Oh, shit. Damn. Fuck.
Sorry for the language.
Hey, bro, we got kids.
Okay, that's not it. Clearly.
Watch these fucking.
Oh, maybe it is. Okay, sorry.
Unarmed.
Go back here.
Not so shoot him in the windy. Watch these fucking pigs talk to this dude for 20 minutes, and these fucking assholes shoot him in the Wendy's drive-thru for no fucking reason.
Sorry about that.
Shot him. I saw y'all talking to him for 20 minutes, dude.
I'm going to turn this down.
Non-violent. Nothing wrong with how he conducted himself whatsoever. And you pull a fucking gun, dude? Wow. Wow. I feel like both of your careers are definitely done because you just shot a man for no reason. This pig and these two. Yeah, suspects hit by your bullet, dude, for no reason. Jumbling with a fucking glove, you fucking clown. What the fuck, dude? What the fuck? What the fuck?
I'm so sorry about the language. I did not realize.
Unnecessary. Absolutely fucking unnecessary.
I don't see where.
Because I fucking just spent the last fucking couple of fucking minutes yelling at you for no reason. I'm pretty sure.
Okay, they're loading him in the ambulance there, but this is definitely does not seem like the footage where they're trying to save his life. So let's go back here, and perhaps it is the one below it. It says okay, so this is the full body cam right here. I apologize for the language. I don't generally like to put that kind of language in there, but I can't really avoid it in a situation like this. But hopefully this one's better. Let's hope. Come on. There we go. Come on. Sorry. Is it gonna play? So this is the body cam footage from the officers. Oh my gosh, this is an hour long. Let's try to get to the part where they're doing the CPR because I want to see it. Well, there's the ambulance there, so it's got to be back here. Okay, let me take it back a little bit further. I really want to find this.
Yo, dude, these fucking cops in that shit are necessary as fuck. We watched it, man. We watched it. Alright, man. I saw these two cops talking to this gentleman, and they were having polite discourse the whole time. You know what I'm saying? This dude was not being aggressive. He was talking, he was looking at you, whatever. Give him a relax, no fucking reason. And then, I think he realized, well, he didn't do a fucking thing. Dude. Sorry, but that's the fuck in the drive-thru and Wendy's. That cops
Okay, so it's the other cop, and they're coming up.
Mr. Brooks, keep breathing. Mr. Brooks, keep breathing for me.
Ambulance to get in. We'll start with security.
You can clearly hear him saying, "Mr. Brooks, keep breathing."
Hey! Yo! Hey! Now, look! Hey!
Okay, this is impossible to follow, but I did see where the officers were leaning over his body and were saying, "Keep breathing, Mr. Brooks." But you know, this is a very, very long video and it hasn't been edited down. But if you go onto YouTube, you can probably find this for yourself. It's just full body cam footage of Atlanta shooting of Rayshard Brooks. So, yeah, might be interesting to look at. I just don't, I have a hard time with just every second word is F and, you know, just whatever. All right, so says 2018 Justice Department statistics, 2018 violent crime incidents, 4,145,300. White on black incidents, 59,777. Black on white incidents, 547,948. Yeah. Now, factor in that blacks only comprise 13% of the population. Blacks are overwhelmingly more likely to commit a violent crime against whites than vice versa. As far as police shooting, in 2019, there were 10 shootings of black men by police. In 5 of these cases, the police were being assaulted. There was ambiguity regarding the appearance of weapons in 3, and in 2, the police were charged criminally and jailed. During this time, 25 unarmed white men were killed. A police officer is 18.5 times more likely to be killed by a black male than an unarmed black male is to be killed by a police officer. So there you go. That's interesting. All right, let's go back. But, you know, the narrative that we all heard on the mainstream media is that, oh, they didn't care. They just let him, you know, they shot him and they didn't, you know, try to do anything. Or, you know, they never told us that they were working to save the guy's life. I never heard that. Did you? I bet you didn't. All right, let's go back now. Oh, gosh, look at the time. Okay, you know what? I'm going to just do maybe a couple more short things, and then I'm going to have to go to bed because I've got a big day tomorrow. All right. Now, remember we were talking about Aunt Jemima, and that she was actually a woman named Nancy Green, and somebody sent this to me from Wikipedia, one of our regular listeners. Nancy Green was born. Now, I don't know why they would want this woman's image removed from the syrup. She invented it. She made it. Nancy Green was born into slavery on November 17th, 1834, near Mount Sterling in Montgomery County, Kentucky. She was hired in 1890 by the R.T. Davis Milling Company in St. Joseph, Missouri, to represent Aunt Jemima, an advertising character named after a song from a minstrel show. Davis Milling had recently acquired the formula to a ready-mixed, self-rising pancake flour from St. Joseph Gazette editor Chris L. Rutt and Charles Underwood, and were looking to employ an African-American woman as a mammy archetype to promote their new product. Okay, this is a totally different story than I heard. I heard that she had invented the syrup. In 1893, Green was introduced as Aunt Jemima at the World's Columbian Exposition held in Chicago. in the guise of a plantation slave, where it was her job to operate a pancake cooking display. Her amicable personality and talent as a cook for the Walker family, whose children grew up to become Chicago Circuit Judge Charles M. Walker and Dr. Samuel Walker, helped establish a successful showing of the product, for which she received a medal and certificate from the Expo officials. After the Expo, Green was reportedly offered a lifetime contract to adopt the Aunt Jemima moniker and promote the pancake mix. However, it is likely this was part of the lore created for the character rather than Green herself. This marked the beginning of a major promotional push by the company that included thousands of personal appearances and Aunt Jemima merchandising. Nancy Green maintained her job with Davis Milling, which was renamed Aunt Jemima Mills Company in 1914. Her primary occupation as of 1910 was residential housekeeper, and she retained this position until her death in 1923. Okay, so interesting, because that is absolutely completely different than what I told you, that she was an entrepreneur and blah, blah, blah. So I don't know, but this is Wikipedia. So who knows what's true? I don't know. Okay, let's get out of there. And let me see if there's anything else that I need to cover. Some of this can wait, obviously. But I just wanted to make sure. Oh yes, look at that. Donald Trump tweets this. Joe Biden's rally, zero enthusiasm. What, is there 2 people there? Looks like there's 2 people there. I don't know. Okay, I'm going to stop for tonight because it is 12:30. It is, it's June 21st now. So there you go. And, I don't know whether I'll be back tomorrow because, as I stated, it is Father's Day, and it's also, Monday is my stepfather's birthday. So we're combining it and having a family get-together, and I am looking very much forward to it. I don't know how long it'll go, so if I'm able to do a show tomorrow night, I will certainly do it because it is my desire to do so. But if it's late, then I will wait until Monday to do a video, and I will bring a double header. All right. So you guys have a wonderful day tomorrow, and I just want to wish all you fathers a happy Father's Day, and I hope that you remember your fathers and give them a call if they're still alive, and wish them well. So you guys have a wonderful night. Stay safe. First of all, stay blessed, stay well, and keep seeking truth because, as you know, and I know, deception bites. Good night, guys.